Okay, so let's take a little look at something real quick. Alright, I made a first video and it got messed up, so we'll see how this goes again. Okay, so here we go. Here's our robot. Here's our claw at the front. So and we have little pieces that are going to hinge and close, have like a servo here like you have on the other side, you know, type thing. And it'll close on our little blocks, okay? So we need something to kind of raise this claw up, you know, and raise and lower it. We want to be able to kind of maybe be able to push like a bulldozer, because some of these blocks, you know, that we have out there can be just pushed into the right location. Okay, so we could just, so this thing could open up, act like a bulldozer and just push pieces, or we could close it and grab a couple of pieces and grab two at a time because you don't have much time. And so we're looking at like a parallelogram for our claw design. And so, and what you have is two pieces, two blocks, and a block here on your robot, and this acts like a fulcrum, but it also keeps this always level. So this is always flat no matter where it is in space. If you look at our information we kind of dug up on Friday and stuff, ARM ideas, and so as you find different things, maybe you find it maybe a cool idea, post it out here, stick it out here on our deal. You know, if there's a picture, send a picture, put it in there. And so that's kind of like what we're looking at for maybe brain, you know, the ARM deal. So this way, no matter where it is in space, you know, if it's down here on the ground, it's flat. If it's up a little bit, middle ways, up type, you know, it's always flat. And so that's kind of what we're looking at building here. So how do we build that in SketchUp? Not SketchUp, I'm sorry, Onshape. So I created my little block here, and this block is, let me go to the first sketch here so you can see it. The block is 6 inches, so that could change however big we want it on the front of our robot, you know, smaller, bigger, that could change. You know, so I just put in a rough number like 6 inches. And then 3.5 inches tall, so that number could change too if we don't need as much, you know, or something. And we can make it out of different material, but probably the wood right now is probably our best bet. Kind of makes it easy to work with, and then we could make it out of plexiglass or something like that, but okay. Then I extruded it, and I extruded it 0.75, okay? So it's 3/4 of an inch thick, size of standard wood. And so then I went from that to the sketch on the end here. So if I go to the little sketch on the end, you can see, and I made two holes, or made a little hole, and it's 0.162. So that's the diameter of it, and I put these dimensions on it so it would make it that automatically. I drew the circle here, and then I put dimensions on it, one across here and one up and down here, 0.75 and 0.375, to so it'll center it. And if I could change these, if I need it, you know, 0.5, you know, then it would change it, and I wouldn't have to go in there and do a bunch of more work. But I'm going to leave it 0.75 right now. I can always change it if, you know, that measurement's not quite what we need. Oops. I just, so 0.75. Okay. And so, so I did that on the top and bottom for both of them. Okay. So there's the measurements and everything. Should be easy to make a little block, and all this is a little block. Okay. And then made little holes down the middle, and then I extruded it. Let's see if I can close that. So I extruded all the way through so I could have a place on either end. Instead, I could do a sketch on both ends, but I was like, well, I'll just extrude it, and that gives me that on both ends. Okay, so I can attach to it easily. Okay, so then, so that's all that. So that's the block, and then I made a little washer, and this little washer is just to go in between the block and the arm. So when you have the arm or the block, you know, you get the little washer in there. And so if you look at the little sketch on it, it's the center is 0.162, like a 1/16 of an inch. It's not very, just about the biggest as the bolt we're kind of using for that. And then 0.5 1/2 inch diameter for the outside. And then I extruded it. So if you look at my extrude is 0.162, so the same distance that the center hole is. So I extruded it out, made a little washer type thing to put in there. And then my actual arm, hope that's the front block. Let me see if I can find the actual arm. Tried to put these kind of together, but oh, I haven't named it, I guess. So, and sometimes it helps if you name these things. Parallel arm, I don't know. Okay, so this is my little arm, and so on the sketch on this, I just did 12 inches because we could make it longer or shorter, depends on our robot. You know, we probably make it longer, but or we'll make this end longer over here because it actually needs a fulcrum, so it can kind of pivot like a seesaw type thing, and then we can weight that end of it. Kind of like in our design here, we would add, you know, more over here and then have a weight or have a motor or something, or we could have the motor hooked up to another arm piece and it could pull down on it or something. So we've got to figure that out as we go, how we're going to raise and lower it. But usually the string is not the most efficient way to do it. It's kind of slow, so we've got to find a little bit faster way to move it. So then on top of that, I put in measurements, 0.162 again, diameter of our screws that we were using to kind of put things together, 0.75 from the end, 0.5 this way, and then kind of started working on assembling it. And I think I deleted my last assembly. Yeah. And so create an assembly. Let's see how we're doing on time. Oops, gotta hurry. And so I started assembling it, and so what I'm going to do is insert these pieces in, and there's my front arm piece, and then a parallel arm, and then, you know, a couple of washers to get started. Okay, and so I don't know where all those are now, but oh, they're there. So let me drag these over here. And so what I did was I just want to revolve these, or mate these on there, but use the revolve so they can turn. So I would pick that spot, and I'm just going to pick this side of it and see if it'll go over there, or it's going to move that over there. Okay, and you'll notice it didn't quite, it stuck on the inside of it, so I can easily flip that and it'll bring it out. And actually it's doing the other piece that way instead of the piece I need. But anyway, that'll be okay. So I say okay on that one. Drag this piece out here so I can work on it. Then I'm going to do another revolve, and I'm going to pick right there, kind of rotate this around a little bit and pick right there. Oops, I'll say okay, kind of pull it back so then you can see they're both on there now. And so I'll do the other side in a minute, but I'm going to do this one. So I'm going to fix this to the location, that way it doesn't move around too much. And then I'm going to go in and do a revolve mate on this one. So I'm going to pick it right there, and then I'm going to pick it right there, and I'm going to say okay. And so keep getting everything, trying to get zoomed in, but then so this should be able to pivot. See how it pivots now? So that's really what I want, is that to be able to pivot. So that's working correctly. It's all fixed to this, so it shouldn't move from that, hopefully. And so that's kind of where we are right now. But oh, and so then I'll bring the other arms in. Oh wait, gotta insert them. So I'd bring another arm in, bring in some more washers, or, you know, and I want to connect the another block to the other side over here. Okay, and put washers on it too, so that way I can pivot this whole piece on one side, would be able to go up and down. Okay, I'm kind of running out of time here, so I'm going to stop and let y'all kind of work on that. Okay, but you know, once I have all these revolves in there, pick that and mate it. I kind of move that in a weird spot, so I'm going to try to put it right there and see if it goes. Okay, then I'm going to, oops, I need to bring that out. It's not liking me right there, so I'm gonna undo that one real quick and try again. And so it's not. So, but you're getting those lined up, get the other block on here, and then see if it all moves together, and you should be good to go. Alright, and then maybe attaching it to the base of our robot a little bit, and we'll play around with that. But I'm running out of time, and so I'll send this one out to everybody.